the seat of the planter tractor is probably as good a place as any to tell this story. And it's kind of funny because you can see the awesome moon right there. All right. The story probably starts about 10 days ago. Well, actually maybe 14. Actually, the story kind of starts about 2.5 years ago. Rewinding back 2.5 years ago, me and my dad, for the last 10 years, have planted somewhere between 5 to 750 acres a year with an 8-row and an 8-row corn planter. And 2.5 years ago, we had this wild idea like, hey, maybe it's time to update. Now, putting 750 acres in a year with 8 rows isn't record setting. A lot of people do it. The tough thing for us is we have a crazy wild climate where it's either too wet or too dry. We just have this crazy climate. Typically, it's like too wet. So the simple math was, hey, we have 8 rows. Let's go to 16 rows and things will be better. Well, 2 years ago, me and my dad bought this planter. We knew there was a chance we might not get it because John Deere was in the middle of a strike. And so we decided, hey, let's buy another planter. And I don't know, sometimes in life you just wish you knew today what you didn't know back then. Let's put it that way. So we bought this one, but it was on hold, and then so we bought another 16 row, and that other 16 row was a really decent planter. Did what we needed to do, but it just wasn't as nice as this one. Yeah, more people need to spend time in welding class. More people need to do crappy welds so they learn how to do good welds. In a weird way, this is just kind of the way spring's been going, ain't it? Yeah. Heck yeah. Then that got me through year one. Then last year we picked up this planter. I don't know what we actually title this because it's not really a new planter, but it's kind of a new because I've never got to use it before. I'm gonna take this tractor right here, unhook it out of the spreader, and drive to town and pick up a new planter. Now, new to me means new to us. It's not brand new, not even close. Do not have that kind of financial resources available to put in the farm. Nope. Last year we picked up this planter, but yes, there were some things not quite right with it. I'm just coming back home from John Deere, and I think I got answers to our questions. We also got some parts for the liquid fertilizer, but overall, I'm pretty happy. I think we got all the knowledge and all the parts we need to make this planter work. So I was watching the neighbor's plant. We ended up taking the planter back to John Deere so they could do some more work, more updates to it. Good news, and a little bit of not good news, but not bad news. You can see we got planter in the field. I had the sales rep come out and he was helping me set everything up, and then we found a few things that we need to change, and so we're actually going to take it back to Deere, let them make some changes to it. And when we got the planter back, most of my neighbors were about half done with corn, but again, going from 8 rows to 16 rows and my desire to plant at night anyways, we caught up in a hurry. Okay, so fast forward to this year. Last year when the planter was going back to John Deere, in the back of my head I was like, oh crap, how can this be happening? And the whole time my dad was like, don't worry, wait till next year when we got it dialed in, and you just hook into it and you go. Okay, so we're gonna fast forward to this year because basically that is exactly what happened, except for we had one minor problem with it, and that was I'm not really used to vacuum planters, and apparently mice like to build nests in the tubes. All right, so we're trying to get the planter up and going, and Adam, I got one side working and not the other, and it's vacuum operated, which means it's basically a big air pump. Adam pointed out to me something that's pretty freaking cool. He said, it looks like there's something to plug in the vent, and I've never seen this before. Because when we first fired it up, I had like very little vacuum, and then we found out, oh, that's because there's rodent nests plugging up the vent.
Found the nest. Oh, there it is.
Plugging up the outlet vents, and hence not really allowing a lot of vacuum to be created. So we got that cleaned out, and then we actually just hit it. All right, so fast forward. We're into this spring, but I got to back up just slightly. So 2 weeks ago, about today, we had a rain spell. It came through, didn't amount to much, and I remember walking out the back door, and it was absolutely gorgeous. And I was like, no way. I'm looking at my phone, I'm looking at the weather, and I'm like, man, what is the chances we could get fertilizer put down and we could start planting early? So if we go back to that Friday, I literally have the elevator here blowing down fertilizer, but the next problem we have is the Steiger that we usually use for tillage, or one of the Steigers that we usually use for tillage that we had hooked in the digger, did not have a drive shaft in it. It was effed. it was not in good shape. Now, luckily, I had a drive shaft already fabricated, but we still had to get it all put in. And so that Friday, I'm literally watching the elevator go across the field, and I'm like, man, there's no way I'm going to pull this off, but we got to try. All right, our Steiger is no longer two-wheel drive. Hopefully it stays that way. I'm really hoping. Project turned into a butt kicker, but see it backing out of the shop tonight on a Friday night, very happy. I'm gonna go get cleaned up, and then we're gonna try and throw in the field yet tonight. Like, man, there's no way I'm gonna pull this off, but we gotta try. We gotta try, swing for the fences. Worst case scenario, you get a fall ball, right? Something like that. All right, so we're gonna fast forward. We're gonna keep flying through this story because it is a heck of a 10-day run. All right, so Friday night, we get drive shaft in it, and I get the Steiger in the field, and Ben takes off, and boom, we are working in fertilizer. And then now the next thing we got to do is we got to go grab a tractor and planter and start bonsaiing through a planter because, yes, we have fertilizer, we have a tillage tractor. Now we just need to get the planter in the field. All right, so we get the planter hooked up, and we start figuring out that we don't got vacuum. We get the mouse nest out of there, boom, we got vacuum. Everything is going really good. All right, so that is Saturday. I wanted to check a few things out, and well, anyways, we got going on Saturday, pulled the pin for the night, got going again on Sunday, and on Sunday, I knew we were starting to fall short of our goal. We had fertilizer put down on about 210 acres, but I knew we just had to push through this because the other thing I had going on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday that week, I had a class with MPCA. Kind of what got this whole project like rolling was, hey, can we get these fields planted before I have to leave for the MPCA class? Now that was on Tuesday. Now they're also calling for rain on Tuesday. So here we go Sunday. I just hit it and I just go, and actually my friend Noah came over and he was planting for me while I was doing some trucking. Then he took off, and then I kind of planted to about 11 that night, and then fast forward till Monday. Again, not knowing a whole lot about vacuum planters, I found two little collars that were actually off the tubes. I got those put back on, and boom, we're getting the vacuum back on. But, you know, just to be safe, I also pressure checked the entire tractor and fine-tuned a few other things. So I didn't really get going about 11 o'clock in the morning on Monday, but 11 o'clock on Monday, got going again. Noah came and helped me for a couple hours. I did some more trucking, and then I jumped in the tractor at about 8 o'clock at night, and I just kept going and going and going. And I planted till about midnight, still planting, and everything is going really good. I think it's time to blow the radiator out. I had the temp gauge. I've been sitting here for about 10 minutes in the field. It's going on 11 o'clock at night. I had the temp gauge go off on me. I'm trying to get like 2 more passes done because then we'll have all the low area in this field done. I was hoping to finish the field, but it's going on 11 o'clock at night. I'm going to work here for about another half hour. Then I got to be 3 hours north of here at 8 o'clock in the morning because I got a class I got to go to. And in between there, I got about 2.5 to 3 hours worth of trucking to do. Yeah. Being an adult, not as much fun as a guy would think, but also very thrilled everything's going as well as it is. I mean, this is only gonna make sense to other farmers and self-employed people. After I get done trucking for the night, it's like 4 o'clock in the morning. I jump in my pickup and I head up north to my class, which is 3 hours away. Tuesday morning. So I worked all night. I didn't care. I actually took an hour's worth of sleep on the way. So instead of being at the class at 8 o'clock in the morning, I rolled into the class at 9 o'clock in the morning. Okay, so you know from high school, being tardy is not exactly a good thing. Okay, so this is where the two worlds collide and meet. Self-employed, farmer, truck driver, whatever else you want to call me, versus going to a class filled with people that are management level and people that work for an employer. Okay, so I walk into class an hour late. So when you walk into a class an hour late, believe me, your fellow classmates are going to ask you, well, why weren't you here on time? And then you tell them, you know how you woke up Monday morning and I woke up Monday morning? And they're like, yep. And then you went to bed Monday night and I didn't go to bed Monday night because I just kept planting corn. When that's the best answer you got, give them the best answer you got. Right off the bat, it's just like, oh, you gotta be kidding me. Now tie in the fact that I have to sit still for the next like 7 hours. Why we go through the book. Luckily, when I fell asleep in class, the dude next to me kind of nudged me. I was like, hey dude, you're falling asleep. So like, okay. But I'm gonna fast forward. So that was Tuesday. Tuesday was rough, slept great Tuesday night. Wednesday, feeling it, sitting in the class, I'm on time, everything is great. All right, Thursday, I made the cardinal sin. When you do not really put your phone on silent, ever, but you know, like proper protocol in a class is like, hey, put your phone on silent so it doesn't ring and ping. All right, so my phone was on silent and, not really used to taking it off. And so when I set my phone alarm to wake up the next morning, wouldn't you know, the phone was still on silent and the alarm did not go off. Thursday was the day I walked in a half hour late, and the very nice gal who is teaching the class knows you. She is not gonna let you just sit down in the back of the class and not draw attention. She is gonna point out the fact that you are late. And you know what you do at that point? You fully admit it. That's what you do. You fully admit that you forgot to take your phone off silent and that you are tardy once again. All right, so if you can see, this class is not going as good as it should have. And there's a moral to this story, and I hope you're laughing if you get to this point in the video, because it gets worse. It gets completely worse. Okay, let's recap. Hour tardy, first morning, not good. Second day, awesome. Third day, walk in half hour late. Okay, again, not going as well. Then on the third day, when you spent 2.5 days in class and you're all ready to take a test, when you forget to register for the test, you feel this big. Yeah. You and nobody else wanted to talk to me Thursday afternoon about 1 o'clock in the afternoon. So I am like 3.5 hours away from home. I'm almost in South Dakota, which is like not where I should be, because I just had to kind of get out and clear my mind. When you have a really crappy day and nothing quite goes as planned, I'm gonna tell you, go to the gym, go for a drive, go to a comedy club. Just don't go to a bar and drink it off, because it's not gonna get better. I had a lot of fun with one beer and like a few hundred rounds of shells, and oh my God, I don't know what it is about guns that'll make you forget everything that mattered in life, but I'm telling you, yeah, you have a bad day, go to the gym, go to a comedy club, go to the range, go for a drive. Just don't go to a bar and drink your sorrows away. Clean the garage, clean the shop, do make it productive. Believe me, the bad's not gonna last forever, and just keep working towards that next good day, because the good definitely offsets the bad. And when you do have that bad day, drive 2.5 hours to a friend who lives in South Dakota, shoot a whole bunch of shells off, give him $100, he's gonna give it back to you, and drive home. Yeah, kind of in that order. Needless to say, sometimes life does not go as planned. That whole 5-6 days of events, well, the one thing I've learned, when you are going to push life that hard, and kind of go after this probably unobtainable goal, there's going to be some collateral damage. And you know what? Sometimes you just do the best you can to manage it. So after I left the class, I went and visited a friend 3 hours away, and we shot guns, and we shot more guns, and we shot more guns. And I literally was trying to hand him hundreds of dollars to cover the shells that we shot. And well, that didn't happen. He's like, nope, you just looked like you had a bad day. And I'm like, yeah, I had a bad day. All right, so fast forward. Here's where it gets cool. On the way home that night, I remember it was about 9 o'clock at night, and I called another friend, and I'm like, dude, I just got a vent. I'm like, can you just listen to me for 15 minutes? Because he's self-employed, I'm self-employed, and I'm like, I just got to explain so to somebody that actually would understand. And he's like, fire away. Friday morning, Steiger, no drive shaft, elevator putting fertilizer down. Friday night, Steiger going across the field, working it in. Saturday, getting planter rolling. Sunday planting, Monday planting, Tuesday class, Wednesday class, Thursday furiously mad. And he's like, you know, man, he's like, considering all the different adversity you faced, he's like, you nailed it. Because he was asking me, he's like, so when do you get to take the test? I'm like, I rattled off the day to him, and he's like, yeah, cool. He's like, so a couple weeks you get to retake the test, and I'm like, yep. And he's like, dude, you nailed it. And I'm like, really, you think so? He's like, yeah. He's like, here's the deal. He's like, you got a chance to take the test on, later in May. And I'm like, yep. But he's like, you know as well as I do, if the weather turns nice and that corn comes up nice, he's like, you will never replace that bushel per acre. And I'm like, yeah, you're right. And he's like, you made the right call. And I'm like, oh, thank God. So I hope the moral of the story here that you've heard so far is like, when life throws you adversity, man, just keep swinging for the fences. But man, spring 2024 is off to a really good start, and that is really cool. And if you can't tell, I am still in a tractor with a planter behind me, and I am headed back to the shop because we just finished this field. Nice.